I feel like we always have to start with laughing.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone, to another Cosmic Adults episode. Supersode? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know yet. Hasn't happened.
Yeah, maybe it would just make sounds like yay yay or something.
Yeah, like Migos. It's Ian and Mercedes, the energetic duo, coming at you in your ear holes. And if you're watching on YouTube, what's up?
In
your eyes.
In your grills.
We're up in your grills.
If you happen to wear a grill, the wrap thing.
Have you ever met a person that has a grill in person?
Luckily not.
No? I know girls who get diamonds put in their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a female equivalent. It's just a little diamond.
Is that like a wrap thing or what was it? What's that?
The grills?
I know grills. I know obviously, but the diamond in there. What is?
I don't know.
Diamond?
It's just glued on. You just get it glued onto your tooth, and then it's when you smile, it's ding. I don't know why.
Sounds something I don't want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I will leave it to the others.
Yeah. Put our energy in other areas of life, probably.
Avenues. Like the guns.
Other avenues.
Do the guns. Mercedes is That's going to happen now more often. And,
I don't know, Ian. It makes me.
I think it's
okay,
better
maybe
than the diamond. It's better than the diamond.
Keep it with the finger guns for sure. But yeah, anyways, so we're coming at you with a new episode. We are feeling, I know I'm feeling a lot more refreshed and normal again. After the last month of whatever the heck was going on in the stars, in my physical body, my energy, everything. I felt like a complete weirdo, and I was acting like a complete weirdo, just not myself, but it just felt like this whole upheaval of old things that needed to go, and I just had to go through this tunnel of whatever it was. How are you feeling, Ian?
I can't remember being this tired, physically, mentally, emotionally. But I'm
ever.
It's maybe some places, I can maybe make a reference to a year, but it's been very stressful, this whole relocation thing, and
do you think it's because of the move?
I think it's a lot.
Or a combo.
I think it's a lot to do with the move and a lot to do with a lot of things that have been going on. Releasing, growing, bringing new things into my life and letting go of a lot of things, because I think, maybe when you're in the spiritual scene and you start to get ideas about what letting go is, and you think that when you have done letting go in the past, now it becomes a lot easier in the future. Well, maybe a tad, but it's still a letting go. And a letting go of, country of origin, a person, a career, money, income, earthly things as well as emotional, wounds and all that good stuff. It's been wild. It's been wild for me.
Do you feel like what I won't feel is you get used to the change, the aspect of change and being okay with that, but the way that it happens changes.
It becomes more intense, I would say.
Yeah, because it's deeper?
Intense. Yeah, I would say so, yeah. It's what's going to happen, but every time it comes, it's still almost like a surprise, because it's somebody's turning the volume up to close to maximum of what it can go, and every time the knob gets bigger, So, it's a little bit harder, but that's how you go and evolve as a human being.
There's a joke there for sure. There's a joke there.
You can, the audience can probably understand there's a bit of a zinger there, but but as I'm saying, like all of that being tired and being a little bit emotionally worn and all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying that as like an excuse or it's so bad or something like that. It's more like a understanding of where I was, where I'm at, and now I'm finally starting to gradually recover from all of it. And then it's also like seeing the past. What is like February? We made that decision end of February. Now it's beginning of July when we're recording this. So it's a very, very short time to make such big changes. And the rewards of let's say growth or understanding what you can do as a human being also come with it. So it's like I can see that I can probably do a lot of things in life thanks to doing this big thing.
Yeah. Do you feel more free? Like, do you feel?
I would say so. In a lot of ways, I do feel, but it's like at the same time, we with my family, we are in a entirely new place, and a lot of people here don't speak English, or obviously they don't speak Estonian, but the communication in a lot of ways is through WhatsApp and through Google Translate. Basically, you give them,
Yeah.
and it's wild and it's weird and it holds many challenges and many fears with it. All of this newness and all of this kind of like unknown at the same time, because in my home country, and I knew a lot of that stuff that I don't know here. Like I have no clue even, and it's hard to even understand it because they don't speak the language. I don't speak the language yet, so it takes time. And that fear of that unknown, I think it's one of the things that has been maybe the biggest cause of that, let's say, tiring or emotional turmoil, etc.
It feels like an interesting dance between like three-dimensional unknown and like energetic unknown, like physical unknown, language, communication, 3D stuff, but then energetically it feels so open. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just feeling like something interesting in that.
I would say it is very liberating here, in a lot of ways, because it's, again, nobody knows us here, and it's also like I think maybe the energetic thing that you're referring and feeling that you're tuning into is like the place of how do I word this now? It's like this open space of one part of that unknown is scary. And the other part is like, oh my God, what's possible here? What can we do here? And what is, not only achievable, in an earthly way, but like literally in a lot of other ways, energetic ways, you can say, or human growth ways. So it's wild. It's wild. It's hard to describe even the feeling. Because I haven't ever, lived that long. Even right now, it's getting close to 3 months, and I haven't ever lived that long in another country.
Wow. Did you ever see this for your life?
I saw, obviously, if I'm an astrologer, I look at my chart and I look at my ruler of the first house, which is me. I see it in the 9th house. That's already a very big indication that, let's say, a big portion or some portion of your life you're going to be spending abroad. It is one, let's say, indication that relocation is possible as well. And I also have Neptune in the 4th house, which is also, 4th house is home, Neptune is foreign lands, again, another indication. So I was like, okay, so, most likely this is going to happen at some point in my life. Now, when I was looking at some of the transits, yes, I had that feeling as well. But,
it's kind of different seeing it in a chart and being like 10 years back, let's say, and being like, oh, this could happen, than actually physically going through the move and being in the foreign country and actually like taking all those actions and being in it.
It's entirely different. Yeah, it's like it lives in your mind, in your thoughts. But like finally, if you do it, it's like okay, so it's
Do it.
do it. But it's like scary and it's fun and it's exciting and it's stressful and it's like
Yeah.
you get also it's like a variety of things happen.
As much as it's been stressful and stuff, have you found like moments of joy and laughter and fun? Like, has that been part of it too?
Definitely, definitely it happens here and there, I would say, but it's like like in my case, I'm juggling many pieces here. I'm not, if I would do this alone, it would be entirely different. Like entirely,
Yeah.
like, it would not even be talking about. It's like, oh yeah, I feel a little bit stressful. I feel maybe a little bit scared because I don't know anybody, etc., etc. But now I'm like responsible for a baby, for my son, the cats. Then the fiance, everybody has their own emotional lives, and you're kind of like juggling all of them with your own as well. So it's like, whoa. So having finding times here where we kind of like enjoyed ourselves and had fun. I definitely have been here, and it's the sun is here, the beaches are here. It's amazing. But it's like
totally.
so many earthly things have to be taken care of. It's been overwhelming, I would say.
So do you feel like, in this big transition and everything, do you feel like sometimes like in your relationship, and like, you don't have to go too deep into this, but do you feel like sometimes in your relationship, friends, family, whatever, but obviously your closest relationship would be your partner and your son. Do you feel like sometimes you have to put your needs and your emotions and your stuff on the shelf a little bit to support them through things?
Constantly. But like this is the problem of seeing what this is. You can do this for a certain amount of time. Because if you do it for too long, I know myself, and I've, done this and made this mistake myself. It's like when I do this too long, when I, don't give myself the focus or attention or give myself even the time when they're sleeping, for example, then I overextend myself and then start to get angry and I start to get like pissed off and they unfortunately sometimes get the negative side of that and I kind of like lash out on them and you're like, oh, why is this like this? But the problem actually is that I haven't yet just given myself the attention and I've literally overextending myself to places that is not like feasible.
And do you find that when you're getting to that point of overextension, are you able to like ask for help when you need it?
Like mostly yes.
Or do you feel like you just sort of tough it out alone?
Like I would say I've gotten better throughout the years, but it's taken a lot of practice and like I said, like going through those ups and downs. But still, like sometimes, especially I would say as a man, you want to kind of like tough it out and be the man of a house and take care of everything and etc. etc. But like it's what I found is you have a limit. You still have a limit. You have a time limit. You have an energy limit. You have an emotional limit. All those limits. Sometimes you have a skill set limit. You need other people to do things for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And even that for a man, sometimes it's hard to ask for. But like the thing is, if you start asking a little bit here and there, it gets a little bit easier, constantly easier.
Right.
And now I'm getting to a place where I'm a little bit better with it.
Because there's vulnerability in asking for help. Like, what if someone says no, or what if they help you and they like mess up your brain or like whatever, or like you do get rejected or whatever your fears are.
One of the biggest fears here I've noticed is I'm afraid that they think I'm not good enough, and that's a big fear
Do you mean like as a husband and provider, or
As a
like,
man, as a man, I'm
yeah.
not good enough, and that's. But the weird part there, if you're listening, guys out there, and especially if you're men, the weird part about that fear is even like what comes after. So okay, you're not good enough, but what does it mean? So what does it mean actually is if I'm not good enough, they won't love me and they will leave me and I will be alone. And these good things that are enjoyable or are close to me or close to my heart are taken away from me. So these are the fears which are very often stopping, like, oh, I can't ask for help. I can't even say, oh, this is too much for me, or let's take a break and make a new plan, for example. That's an important thing to do. I would say very often, especially if you're going through these difficult changes or a lot of changes, because things change in that plan constantly, and new things come in and other things go out, and you need to shift and change. So it's important to talk to each other and say, like, hey, this is where I'm at, I need some help, or we need to take a break, or we need to slow it down, or we need to do this, or etc.
Or I need you to like step up in this area and take care of this so that I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's that. I mean, it's hard. I think it's hard for men and women both, but maybe it's a little bit harder for men because we've kind of indoctrinated ourselves to be strong constantly, which, you can't be strong constantly, or you will wear out. You have to take breaks and you have to rest and then be strong again.
Yeah. I think for me, what I've been experiencing is actually because I've been on my own for so long, and like I've been in relationships and everything, but I've always been in that masculine energy of like being the leader and always forging ahead and doing all the, and like, carrying, like I carried basically everything. Like I was the the man, and I was the masculine energy in most of my relationships. Not that the men that I was with weren't masculine, but like I was more masculine than them because I knew what I wanted, and I just was like, okay, well, if let's go. And lately I've been in this space where there is a masculine energy in my life, and I'm having a hard time stepping back and receiving and like actually being in the feminine and being, let's say, pursued, like, and or I don't, it doesn't even have to be in that, in the relationship or whatever thing, but even like receiving at all, like from, let's say, my dad or from my mom, or even like this, even at this age, from my parents. I'm having a very hard time with that because I'm so used to always generating something to give rather than like just sitting back and being like, okay, everything's going to start coming to me.
So there are a couple of things that I see this very often, especially with obviously women, because it's, you guys sometimes, the necessity arises and you have to, take the bull by the horns, or otherwise there won't be anybody there. But
it's survival.
It's very much to do with survival, but like, very often it still comes from the belief of like, I can't have, or I can't even rely on anybody, because once I relied, then I relied every time. I was kind of like being disappointed, and maybe it was the dad, maybe it was the mother, maybe it was some other caregiver, taker person. Very often it starts there, and then in our modern society, it's wild because women have to be kind of like the man, in the career world, and once they step back, they very often I see they forget to even when they're in a relationship with a masculine man, they almost like they take the masculine energy, what they are used to, let's say, putting out into the world, and they bring it into the relationship. So it's hard to receive. So it's like a clash of energies. Basically, two guys coming in. There's going to be something happening.
Some sword fighting.
Some sort of fighting. But like, it's a practice of literally, it's a practice of, like you said, like receiving, and I need to learn it, and I need to practice it a little bit now more, and allow it. And it's obviously it's not going to come overnight, because you had to do, or a person has had to do this a lot and take charge a lot. So it's hard to go into that other and start trusting, because it's trust, and that's vulnerable, and that can be painful. Again,
Trust is very vulnerable. It makes me hurt thinking about it.
It isn't the easiest of things if you have been disappointed in the past, and especially if you have been repeatedly disappointed.
And I think it's also interesting to like start really when you can become super aware of like, okay, is this disappointment this person in front of me? Like, is this actually this situation that is disappointing me? Sometimes yes. But if I'm overreacting to the point of like, oh, well, better throw this person in the garbage, like done, gotta walk away, blah, 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 blah. Usually that's like a distortion, and that's like an old wound.
Yeah, unfortunately, if these are deeper ones, these will live on, and it like literally takes what you said, like presence and feeling through it and going through it, and actually then making the decision of making the opposite decision. Let's put it that way. Not easy to do. Not easy to do.
So when you're, I want to kind of like segue into a new topic here. When you are on the spiritual hustle 24/7,
24/7,
when you're on that,
with the guns, Jesus Christ.
When you're on the spiritual hustle 24/7, I feel like it can be so easy to get lost in the spiritual hustle. What do you do to, like, I don't know, I call it zoning out. Like, what do you do to like get out of that and actually just like live and have fun and be a human for a little while?
I'll do mine. Do yours first. What do you do?
Hey, I asked you. No way.
I just blocked it.
No way. No.
Okay. So what do I do? I think it's very simple for me. Exercise, huge one. Really love movies, good ones. But like maybe I was too dramatic, because lately it's been very hard for me to enjoy most movies. It's like I enjoy like 3 or 4 movies that have been made.
Total?
It's like, these are the ones that
3 movies are good movies, and that's it.
I can stretch that to 5, and maybe a little bit more if I add like the trilogies of Matrix.
If you lower your standards, you mean?
If I make the trilogies like the good ones, let's say.
If you'd make it into 3 movies rather than just like call it one. Yeah.
Then it's like 10.
Yeah.
But like reading, very simple. Going out to eat, I think it's a really good, like these types of very simple things I do enjoy.
And that brings you into like being a human?
Yeah. Like basketball really brings me to still like, I still really love basketball. I haven't been able to play it for a long time, but like basketball and sports, like it's very simple. There's not much. You can make it spiritual if you really want to, but it's like, it's very easy and very simple in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. You can make it spiritual if you want to.
You can do it.
You can do that with everything.
This is hustle again.
Yeah, but then, yeah, exactly. It's like, then you go back into that hustle and it's like, oh my God, what am I learning from this? What am I learning from this? What do I learn? It was like,
what do these mean? Yeah.
Drive myself insane if I don't get out of that. Freaking.
So what do you do?
What do I do?
What does Mercedes do?
I scroll. Yeah. Nah, that's just special for like
I
this
can't
moment.
stop it. I can't stop it. It's so funny to me.
Can't stop, won't stop. I watch funny stuff. I watch comedy. I laugh. I'm watching Schitt's Creek again right now, which is like a Canadian comedy. So Schitt. Schitt's Creek. It's, you know, the American Pie movies, Eugene Levy with the eyebrows. So it's him, his son and daughter. So his son, Dan Levy, came up with the idea for this show. And basically it's like these really rich people, their business got destroyed. So now they have to live in this town that they bought as a joke called Schitt's Creek. And it's like just hilarious. It's so freaking funny. And it's like just great Canadian humor. So I like it. I love The Office. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I love obviously like my favorite comedy movies like Anchorman and Wayne's World and all that stuff. So that's usually what I do is like I try and find something I can put on that's familiar that I can laugh at.
What about reading? Because that's one of my new ones.
Reading's hard because all my books are spiritual books. So it's like to like pick up a book to read that's just a story. I'm like, well, I should be filling my brain with knowledge. I find books hard actually. I did pick up Harry Potter though to read again because I think there's more in that for me to read, especially just like being able to escape kind of like how I was as a child, like needing that escape from the harsh reality that I was in. I think going for walks is a new one for me rather than reading, like going out and being, but then again, it always turns spiritual. Like, it's like, oh, let me go hug this tree. Like I went for my first run of the year or of the good weather, couple days ago, and I was running. I did 2K and I was like feeling really great. And then I saw this tree and I was like, oh, I have to go meditate under that tree. And I just like I couldn't stop it. And it's just like how is this so ingrained that I just literally cannot get out of it ever? Or for like minute times.
Because you're getting something out of it.
Ooh. Oh, damn.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a lot out of it. I get a lot of fulfillment out of finding meaning.
I think there's a deeper one there as well. But let's leave that, I think, for another episode.
Yeah, when I said that, it made me feel so sad. I was like, oh shit. Ouch.
Like it's what do I want to say about this? It's easy to go into that trap of, we always have to be good, we always have to aim higher, we always have to go
be perfect.
It's all to do with getting love, and a lot of it is to do with not being left behind as well. That's a huge fear. Like our society's speed it's extremely fast. Everything is changing constantly. Most people feel like, oh, if I'm not on the phone, if I'm not consuming information, if I'm not learning, if I'm not growing, I'll be left behind, and then I will be abandoned, and I won't be loved again. So, but like being with that fear of itself and letting go and letting loose, again, for me, it has taken practice, because I wouldn't. When I started, I was really like mental with it, almost like completely wildly crazy with it. And I had to really, I think I'm still learning to let go.
You mean that you went wild with the spiritual hustle?
Oh yeah, like full on Gary Vee, 24/7, like only
telling everyone, even people who don't care, do not want anything to do with it. And you're like, hey, but if you, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you think that's just like a trap that everyone who gets into spirituality stuff or spiritual stuff like falls into?
Unfortunately, I think so. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen so much that we just want to be good so much. You know, we want to be perfect. We want to be good so much that it's so easy
Virtuous.
to get into. Yeah, because what we're doing in that is yes, there's fulfillment, there's meaning, there's genuine curiosity, but like genuine curiosity, meaning, fulfillment. These are, these you can do in, let's say, moderation. You don't have to go, to the extreme. And that's the key for me, and understanding and noticing that when we go as humans to those extremes, then there's something else underneath. Then we're like, oh my God, I'm scared. I need to get this done. I need to get this. And in order to make this happen, and sometimes in order to make that business thing happen or a spiritual thing happen or get that channeling or meditation and information, the reason we want to get that happen, make that happen so soon, is we want to get the love, we want to get the power, we want to get the money, we want to get the freedom, we want to get something out of it. And that's where the problems start, and that's where the overworking happens, and that's where the going crazy and spiritual hustle happens. And some people are like Gary Vee, maybe are extremely wired like that. They need to get that all the time. I tried that, and I tried it many times, and I understood like there's a limit and there's a balance, and I need to understand it. And it seems like from what you're sharing, it seems like the balance is important there as well.
Yeah, it's like the pendulum, right? Like it just swings from one extreme to the next, and you really want it to just be like hanging out in the middle.
Is very often I would like what I personally do is like why do I need to get this done right now? Like, is this really a necessity, or am I afraid of something happening to me, or I'm afraid of losing something? And very often it's, let's say, if it's like a business person, I'll use our example of this, podcast. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, I need to get this done. I need to edit. I need to book it. I need to do it. And then I'm like, okay, so do I really need to do it now? Can I just chill and do it maybe tomorrow and do it, the next day or something like that? And sometimes the reason is, oh my God, if I don't do it now, maybe she will think that blah, 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 blah. And then, our, podcast will fall off apart or something like that. And then I very often go into okay, so can I do it? Can I really do it? Is the energy there? Or am I like pushing myself too much for that, in order for that to work? There's a balance there, I think. Sometimes you need to push. Sometimes you don't need to push. You need to chill.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be okay with it, like literally. So if it gets to that bad, like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't even lift my hand, I can't get out of the bed, I need to rest. And you need to understand that then that's the moment where you have to be okay with them leaving. Like, if that's not okay with them, that's probably not the best partnership anyway for you. And you need to be, again, honest and you say, okay, I'm tired, I can't do it. I'll do it in a couple of days. So that's my process. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, and I think it's really interesting because like hearing you talk about that, I'm like, I had no idea that process went on in your mind. So I think one of the things too is that we all think that it's so obvious. Like what we're thinking is just like on a big screen, like mega screen. Everyone can see what we're thinking. Everyone knows. It's just not true.
Mm-mm. It's not at all. I think it's so important, to be as clear as possible.
Well, and I think the most like magical things come out of not forcing something.
I mostly agree. I had to use it. Like I
just did the finger guns and you missed it.
I I literally mostly agree. The reason I say mostly is because sometimes I've had to push myself a little further, a little further, and then rest, and then the magic happens, thanks to
But
that.
there's a
So there's a
difference.
balance. There's a
I
balance.
mostly agree with that, because I feel like there's a difference between forcing something and pushing yourself. Forcing something is like I envision like a locked door that you're not supposed to freaking open. And then there's a drawer that has like the wooden spoon stuck in it, and you have to kind of to get the drawer open. I think there's a big difference in that, and noticing like, okay, am I listening to the inner wimp or am I forcing something that's not right for me, and I have an agenda and I'm trying to like push something that's not right. Letting the magic in is when you're really just in that flow, I think, personally. Every time I've forced something, it's always turned out.
Yeah, I think that
lame.
That's a good distinction. I think that's an important one. Sometimes it's hard to do, to understand, but yeah, I think it's very, very crucially important to make that differentiate between the whip and the forcefulness. Well,
and I think, I mean, this could be just a generalization, but I think honesty has been, it's like everyone wants, let's say, like you want your partner to be honest with you. You want your friends to be honest with you. You want your family members to be honest with you. But like, how honest are you actually being with yourself? Like how can they be honest with you to that degree when you can't be honest with yourself?
Yeah.
I think
they can't even. It's almost impossible.
They can't, and you would never be able to receive that honesty either.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do really with this, but it came into my brain, so.
Something it has to do.
Well, it's like forcing, right? Why am I forcing this? And if you can be honest with yourself as to why you're forcing it, because I don't want to be alone. There you go. Now you don't have to force it. Now you're free.
Exactly.
For something bigger, something more.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. Thanks, universe, for that one.
Appreciate that guidance.
Yeah, hey.
Is that a good segue to the weekly, kind of like the overview?
I think so. Yeah. Why don't I go first? Yeah, we're looking at the week of July 10th to the 16th. And I did my homework yesterday because I was vibing. I was feeling it. Like I was, watching my favorite. Okay, this is not, I watched Lord of the Rings. I watched the whole extended version, whole trilogy yesterday. It was like the best day. I started early in the morning, was like, didn't open my blinds, nothing. It kept my whole living room dark. Like, was like, this is a movie theater today. And it was like this most gorgeous sunny day out. And I was like, I do not care. Didn't shame myself whatsoever for staying inside on a day like that. Awesome. Also, I have a really bad sunburn, so not the greatest idea for me to go outside. Anyways, yeah. So the 10th to the 16th. So what we're looking at on the 10th is appreciation. I think it's a big gratitude day, a big looking at, okay, what's going right in my life day? How can I go deeper into that? How can I bring more of this in, that type of a day? Monday, the 11th, really interesting. Lust came in very strong. Lust. We haven't really talked about lust too much, I don't think, on the pod, but I think that's going to be coming up. What filters have you got in front of your eyeballs that are making you think that this person is sunshine and rainbows when actually it's not love? It's not love, because love is very different. So yeah, I'll have more info on that on the gram. Tuesday the 12th, adventure, very cool day. Feels like a lot of ups and downs, feels like almost like a river. Like I see like river rafting and like just being open to more.
Maybe
And then
little finger guns to throw into that adventure.
why do you think it's so funny?
I don't know. You're doing it so weird, but it's very funny.
I would say enthusiastically I'm doing it. I'm giving it my all.
It's awesome. Yeah. Let's keep it in the show, I would say.
Oh my gosh, everyone gets to see the real me come out. Wednesday the 13th. All smiles, which I thought was like great. I learned this thing through TikTok actually, where if you open your hands and smile, then it tells your body that there's no danger and everything's fine. So then you start laughing. You just open your hands. Like, you don't have to have your hands up here, but you just open your hands and smile. And then having your hands open tells your body that there's no threat. And then putting a smile on your face is like, oh, something funny. So it can shift your perception of what's in front of you. Anyways, all smiles. So hopefully it's a very happy day. Everyone's going to be happy. Oh no, astrology.
I think I'll explain later, but it's like, it's a weird one, I would say. I think there might be this I want to say, there might be like a deeper, almost like a metaphor there in that all smiles thing as well. Like it's something hidden almost.
Okay. Almost like the Cheshire Cat, maybe.
Blink
Big
182.
grin. Pardon?
Blink 182 album.
Is there an album called what?
I think it's maybe the second, or I think it's the second. I can't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere at the beginning there.
Wasn't there one called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket?
Yeah, that's the main one. That's the like most popular one.
That's like the best one. They really had their time, eh? Like
It's amazing. What a group.
Yeah. Thursday, improvement is the word that's coming up. Improvement. And I think, we're always, if you're listening to those podcasts, like probably you're on that path. So today is a good day to look at those things. The 14th.
It's a debut album, sorry. It's a debut album, actually. Cheshire.
Oh, it's called Cheshire Cat? Oh my gosh. Blink. And then Friday, the 15th, is Special Place. And I think that's that to me, it hits me in like kind of a profound way, because to me, special is like a word that, it's almost like a thing I've been chasing for my whole life, like to be special. And maybe it's like be cherished also as well. Like, but it's like special place. So like, where's your place that is special to you? What about you do you find special? What inside of you? Where can you go that is, go ahead.
Please go ahead. Please finish. I think you're going amazing. They're doing amazing.
Yeah, just what in you, acknowledging in you what really is that special magical spark. Why do you exist on this planet? Why bother?
Yeah, guys, I have a thing with that comes out of really personal experience, and that being special thing is a thing, or being even appreciated by others and etc. We can put these two together. very often when we don't have the attention, when we don't think of ourselves as special or unique, or you know, I'm not saying special as a, you know, I'm special, more special than other. I'm just meaning, you
Yeah,
know,
like it's not like an us more special
competition.
than.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no like comparison. Yeah.
And very often I see people wanting to be special and wanting to be, you know, appreciated by people. But the weird thing is, I went through that, and I literally made it happen in a way that I had that from the outside. I felt very underappreciated, very, you know, not seen, etc., etc. Just very, you know, kind of like dark space. And then I created this, let's say, outer appreciation for myself. Outer, you know, people, you're amazing, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned through, because that energy that came into my life at that time was very big and very strong, and you know, a lot of that came in at a very, you know, quite quickly. And what I learned through that is like that doesn't actually do anything for you. It makes you even more confused if you don't hide internally. So that's the weirdest part about this. It's like literally it feels like foreign.
Do you
It feels like
do you feel
foreign.
kind of like you're like an imposter?
Almost, I would say, yes. Like it doesn't make sense to you as a human
Yeah.
being. Like, what is this? And then you're because, you know, at the same time some people are still, you know, going like, oh, you know, this doesn't make any sense. You're whack. You're you know,
Yeah.
whatever the word is. And you start to understand, and you start to realize, like, so the opinions of these people can change very quickly, very, very quickly, depending on how you act, what you do, what you say, what you know, how you stand up, or how you show up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole experience, like the outside feeling of appreciation and specialness, that evaporates really quickly, and it doesn't fill you up at all. And that's one of the reasons why I'd say, like, the game that Mercedes said, like the internal game of you understanding, like, deeply and knowing and appreciating yourself, that's a long lasting game. Everything else just evaporates very, very extremely quickly, and you're there alone again. Basically.
I remember I had this, it's going to sound maybe weird, but like I had this like very deep realization when I got a new car, like a brand new car, drove it off the lot, like the year before, like it was 2017 and it was a 2018. Like it was like all of it, like the car is fully loaded, like got every bell whistle, like automatic parallel parking, like it does everything. Took me about 3 days to get over it. Like, exactly. And then I was just driving a vehicle, like there was nothing in it. No. It's just it doesn't matter the price tag, the thing, it doesn't matter fucking diddly squat, nothing at all. So yeah, I want to call it the God spark inside, that thing that is you, the life force inside of you. What is that? Where is that? Why does it matter? And then Saturday, the 16th, very interesting segue into the guidance that was coming through was my energy. So one thing that I have practiced or thought of, or, you know, just kind of pondered and played with over the years is like, what does my energy feel like? What do I feel like to other people? What does my energy feel like when I walk into a room? What does my energy feel like when I hang out with my family? What does my energy feel like when XYZ thing? So I think that this is actually a very good evolution sort of weekend moment to go deep and be on that spiritual hustle 24/7 because you can never stop it.
Awesome. Yeah. Amazing overview, I would say.
I think it's going to be a good week. Like, I think we're going to actually like, I mean, it's up to you how far you want to take it, obviously. Like, I'm not going to, no one's going to sit there and hold your hand to evolve and grow. You have to initiate yourself. You have to want it. You have to have that pull, that deep inner pull to go forward. No one can do that for you.
Yeah, guys. Astrologically, and yes, nobody can do that for you. But astrologically, we're in a bit of a full moonish kind of a week there.
Ooh.
And this full moon isn't the easiest of ones. Because, go ahead.
What sign is it in?
It's in Capricorn.
Dry. No, I'm just kidding.
Which is already pretty difficult, you know. It's because when we're talking about a full moon, we're talking a lot about our emotional lives and our feelings and you know, emotions coming to the surface. And when it's in Capricorn, Capricorn wants to suppress. Capricorn doesn't want to deal with these feelings and emotions. What makes it even more difficult is the closeness of Pluto there in this full moon. And the energy I see here, you know, because the full moon is kind of like 2 days before, you can already feel, maybe 3 days sometimes 2 days after, sometimes 3 days after. So the whole week is almost under the influence of this full moon. And what the energy I see here is a lot of suppression, actually, emotionally, and, you know, wanting to put those things down and suppress and suffocate them almost down. But like the Pluto is here to say, like, no, these are coming to the light, these are coming to the surface. You know, it's quite emotional because Mercury and Sun are also in Cancer. So it's a Cancer and Pluto and Capricorn. It's all like a little bit of like I suppress, and then it bursts out in a lot of emotional reactions, emotional ways. So, and not to even, you know, to make it even a little bit harder, we have a Chiron P square to it as well from Aries or to Aries, you can say. And
can't you pretend that none of this? No, I'm just kidding. Just tell us something else. No, I'm kidding.
Very, very, obviously, you know, you can understand these energies aren't the easiest ones to handle because Chiron is, again, it's our wounds, it's our pains, and Pluto is, again, our wounds and pains. Like, the things that I'm saying to you they are momentarily, they're obviously painful. There's no way going around this, and I would also look out for passive aggressive behavior towards other people and from other people towards you. That can happen.
So with Mercury in Cancer, would that not make communication more like soft?
That's the higher side of Cancer, but the negative side of, because the other side, because remember, Pluto and Moon are together during the full moon. That's a lot of heavy emotion in Capricorn, a lot of heavy suppressed emotion. And now Mercury is there, and it, you know, when we're talking about Cancer, Cancer is very soft and caring and nurturing, obviously, as well. But the negative side of that Cancer is, I expect everybody to know what I'm feeling and going through, and I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to communicate. I'm going to, you know, do these acts of passive aggressiveness to get people to you know, accommodate my feelings or nurture me or you know, kind of understand me. And, you know, the negative side of this is because when we're talking about Pluto and Mercury opposition, which is happening, you know, literally as well, because like I said, it's in Cancer when the full moon is happening in Capricorn, so there's an opposition going on. It's and obviously Mercury and Moon are opposite, so the emotions are very confusing and even like emotional outbursts and not wanting to say the things and then saying them with a very emotional charge later on. and
Mhm.
it's a little bit of a heavy difficulty there to handle that, and obviously be as direct as you can, feel into and transform as many emotions as you can and feelings, but like it's because remember Capricorn is also our foundations in life, like the security, and Cancer is security, or let's say Cancer is more security. Capricorn is more like that material foundation. So there can be fears because Pluto is fears around these matters, and all of that, those fears that are to do with survival, our foundations in life, our career, work, and early childhood. All of these, if not processed, if not understood, if not acknowledged, these create this oppression. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of emotional charge like associated with these topics and themes. So you can see that the
So
energy is quite heavy.
we're kind of talking on a personal level here, but then my mind goes to like, okay, so now let's say there are 10,000 people going through this.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the outcome there on like a larger scale worldwide? Or
It can be a lot of emotional communication, emotional reactions in
because I
those
was seeing
areas.
like a lot of politicians like freaking out and like different like meltdowns, like political. I don't know why, but I keep feeling
Very,
political
very good.
figures melting down. Like,
Your your intuition is very, very correct because it's happening in Capricorn and Pluto. So those both are to do with governments and
mm,
let's say politicians, people in power. So there are going to be a lot of because
yeah.
the things are as they are right now. So the politicians are under pressure. They need to make harder decisions, bigger decisions,
Hmm.
emotional decisions. Not hopefully not,
Yeah.
but it will happen during this
I just keep
power
hearing like
dynamics is here.
political, like public meltdowns, like political figures having public meltdowns. Like that's literally all I can see in here right now.
This is, I think, a very, very accurate depiction of what can and happen, and I think it will happen as well. And also, like, politicians going into, like, these power games with each other as well, like, and it
Ah,
being very emotional. One maybe melts down, and the other one is, like, using their power, and so it can be go into these areas as well. Yes.
hmm,
So, I
very
mean,
interesting.
it is an interesting, you know, full moon here.
Makes me feel pretty excited. Are there any like remedies, anything people can maybe do to like get themselves situated, ready for this? Don't freak out. Stay grounded. Well, I mean, I think Capricorn's also an earth sign, right? So that
It's very
it would
grounded, yeah. But
lend a
like,
hand to being kind of grounded, but the moon, sorry, y'all.
the thing here that I see, like here, the problem is it's going to come out anyway. So the best way to, let's say, to go through it is to allow it. There's because it might seem like, oh, Capricorn, oh, I'll just, Cancer, maybe suppress it. But the problem is the Pluto as well. When Pluto comes into the point, it's like, it will, if you don't allow it, it will rip it out of you, basically.
I'm very, very familiar with Pluto. Oh my God. Isn't Pluto my freaking chart ruler?
Yeah, the modern chart ruler, it is. Yeah, so
SOS, SOS.
it's obviously it's there's help there, and it's we can say things like that, but like
Yeah. Well, there's
whenever
never
this,
not help though, right?
yeah,
There's never not. Like, and this is what we were talking about earlier is like when we have that laser focus on that one thing, the one thing that's in front of us that we're like tinkering and nitpicking and we're like, oh, this is the one thing and I'm going to make it beautiful or I'm going to really be sad about it or whatever it is you want to do about this one thing. You miss the all the other things that are around you, all the other blessings, all that energy is there all the time for you. And you just have to tune in and change your channel. So easy. It's easy.
Like in this case, in a large way, in large sense, I would agree. But in this case, I see the problem here. I see is like the fears that are coming in, and if you're able to kind of like notice these fears and understand these fears, like we said about the being of the loved, and you know, we talked about it during the episode as well. Like these very very foundational fears of ours, and you know, we can sometimes put here like career and work and these like stable foundations that we have in life and inside society, because in a large scale this full moon will bring out also like these fears for our, you know, governments, like these things that are, you know, you can see some of them are failing a little bit here and there, and
fears about like the leadership and stuff and like where things are headed.
Definitely. Okay. And then what will happen, and what will happen with our foundations and literally like things that we take for almost like granted for sometimes, and the systems that are in place.
Yeah, like infrastructures and like, yeah.
These fears
got to be able to flush your toilet, turn your microwave on, cook your food.
And these fears are like up in the air, definitely for us.
Interesting.
And what is it like? Even like emotional security and like security in it of itself as well in our society, because a lot of people are afraid of this because, you know, there's a war going on, and you know, for a lot of people it's close. And other things that are happening in our economy and supply lines, and the wheat situation, and you know, these are unfortunately, if we don't address them, and if we suppress them, you know, not good things are going to happen.
I would say that it's a good time to start focusing your mind on something good.
We have an interesting one for that as well. We have a Venus and Neptune square, which is coming in this week. So don't, yeah. I mean, that's you know, use it for art, use it for writing, use it for creative writing, not doing drugs and doing alcohol.
Yeah, doing drugs and doing alcohol is not recommended.
Do the finger guns instead or something, you know.
Yeah, definitely do finger guns. I was.
Awesome.
I think it's interesting because, like, when we were kind of talking earlier about like how to get out of the spiritual hustle, it sort of reminded me of like back in the day how like to get out of my thoughts and my mind and like where I was at and like my monotonous life that I didn't like, I would go to the alcohol and the right. So like that was my out, was like going to drink wine, or, oh, I'll be happy once I do all these 1,000 wine tours or whatever. Cause obviously I live in like wine country, and I'll be happy once this, I'll be happy once that. And blah, blah, blah. It was always the alcohol. So it's like, now it's interesting how like the pattern is still there. It's just showing up in maybe a healthier way, or like just different, it just shows up in a different way.
I think that's an extremely important point that you brought up. And I think it's, you know, if you're struggling with addiction, I think a lot of, you know, it's very hard to go from 0 to, you know, 1,000 or 0 to 100. You know, you sometimes need as kind of like a substitute thing in between, you know, like a movie, or
a stepping stone,
like a stepping stone, or like, but everything can become an addiction in the end. Like even painting and making music and doing art and writing. For me, writing sometimes I almost feel like I don't. Maybe addiction is a strong word, but I like writing so much. You know, it's, you know, easy to go to. But like if you start doing it again, like, oh my God, I need to go writing. But like
yeah,
gets into that space of that similar pattern. I need to, basically it's again like I need to do something to feel better. And that's,
yeah, and that's where that's the bullseye. Wow. Speaking of writing,
Yeah, guys, I have a book coming out. Definitely. So let's start teasing it a little bit here. I have a
yeah.
pretty interesting book coming out, and check it out.
What do you want to share about it? Anything? Or you just want to say, hey, what about subscribe to your newsletter? Because then you'll know when the deets come out.
Subscribe to my newsletter and subscribe to Mercedes's new newsletter that is coming out. I would say pretty soonish.
Pretty soonish is a good way to say it, because oh yeah, I'm gonna be starting in on probably like monthly themes and doing my intuitive thing, because I get a lot of intuitive hits and messages, and it's no good if I just keep it inside and keep it only for me, because that's not really helping anyone. And I feel like I am meant to be of service to the world, and I want to do that on a bigger scale.
Awesome. So guys, subscribe to our newsletters. Get my coming soon book or something.
Should we put our newsletters, like our subscribe here newsletter things, on our link tree?
Probably
should probably do that. For now it's on the website. If you are listening to this and it happens to be on the link tree, great. That means we did it.
I think you can get the link tree. All of our contacts that are on the link tree anyway. You can get the website.
Yeah, our websites are on there. Yeah, totally.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, check the link tree. We're like so.
Is this so good at promoting ourselves?
Yeah, I think we just like what we're doing so much. It doesn't really seem like. Yeah. Anyways, have a great week. We've enjoyed talking today. I have. I think today was great.
It was awesome.
I think I feel back to normal, which is really solid, solid thing. Yeah, travel light. Enjoy the week. Follow on Instagram. Set up the alerts. Post notifications so you know what the heck's going on with the Cosmic Adults, especially on Instagram. I think most active on Instagram, but TikTok as well, and YouTube.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
Share, subscribe.
Don't forget the finger guns, guys. These are the most. Yeah, nice. Just hit it. Hit it on the nail.
Okay. Travel light. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.